Welcome, guys, to the Artist Podcast.
I need to do an audio sync real quick.
Go ahead, do your thing.
All right. Camera 1 speeds, camera 2 speeds, audio sync.
Man, audio's okay. So what is that? What is that for? Teach me something. What that is?
It's the film industry terminology. So when you've got a camera operator A or 1 and then 2 or B, and then when everybody's ready on set, you'll the director will say camera 1 speed, and the camera 1 operator starts recording and says, camera 1 speeds, and then you do that to the second one, and then you clap to do an audio sync. So both of the cameras, since they're not using audio, you have the visual, and then you line that up with the audio spike of the clap, and that way you can sync the audio to the two video
Right, yeah,
feeds.
because you got audio on those cameras as well. I forget about that.
Makes it easier when you want to edit it.
Right. Just
rather than like
clap alone,
frame by frame trying to sync everything up.
Yeah, the first word.
Click a button and it does it automatically.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay, that's what's up. That's dope. Well, teaching me stuff already. I feel like I'm probably gonna learn so much on this one, just cause. Quick disclaimer for the viewership. I'm not feeling my best physically, so my apologies, guys. But we're going to get through this anyways because I'm so excited. I met these two quite some time ago through another job on some real organic stuff. I just happened to see a gentleman wearing a support local artist shirt, right? Yeah, and I saw that, yeah, I'm an artist. For real, though, for real, I'm an artist. And we don't even got to talk about what I'm doing. And boom, fast forward. I'm a guest on it was a blog, correct?
Yes.
I got to be a guest on their blog, which was really, really cool. And now I'm here in their crib and we got some video stuff cracking. So I feel like I've leveled up in the podcast game. This episode, let me try and count real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't know. It's going to be episode 5 or 6, I believe, but can't quote me on that. But welcome, guys, to the Artist Podcast once again. It's your boy Kyle, aka Track. You already know. And today I have 2 special guests, which is awesome because they're together. So me and my lovey-dovey self, I think it's awesome to see 2 artists be together. But we got my man Topher and Sarah. So first, thank you guys so much for being on board with this, and to have this go full circle moment.
Yeah.
Feels so cool because there's so many conversations I've had with so many people, artists and creative people in general, that on the first impression it's super good. And then poof, after that, you just never see him again. So the fact that everything we talked about on that first day has all come into it. Whether it even goes through smoothly or not, just besides the point that all happened. I appreciate that so much. That gives me faith in the world, for real. That's awesome. But I have so many questions. I'm so excited. It's gonna take a little bit because I got my little list, but that's cool anyway. Because I have a theory that this is gonna be the longest episode. If it's not, it's whatever. It's cool. But I'm so curious about both of you because you both have your own trades and both do different things. Both have different expertise. So the first one for the guests is to ask you both, what is your mediums in particular, or not that if you have to choose, what would you say you spend the most time on for your mediums, and for whichever one that wants to go first.
Ladies first.
Oh, thanks. I think I'm a jack of all trades kind of artist. I kind of dabble in everything: sculpture, drawing, painting, printmaking.
Murals.
Well,
I guess
yeah,
that's part of painting, but
pretty much those are the top ones. But if I had to pick, it kind of depends on the year. I feel like this year, last year was a lot more painting.
Really?
Yeah, and murals especially. A lot of murals done in the past couple years, so that's been super fun. And,
wow.
And I don't know. I feel like drawing's probably my favorite if I had to choose one, but I don't know. I kind of like to mix it up.
Right. Yeah. You definitely are for. At my college, I graduated with Bachelor of Fine Arts degree, small little flex, but we had to pick a focus, and it drove me nuts. I hated that. I was like, why do I have to pick one, whether it's drawing or painting or whatever? I like doing a lot of things. Why can't I be multimedia artist? And to be fair for them, I think a lot of students would take that as a cop out to just do a little bit of everything and not fully commit to anything. But for the ones who really genuinely had a love to be the jack of all trades, I'm like, why can I not just say multimedia artist? And on my for my senior show, I definitely put like Kyle Williams, multimedia artist. I did not put
You didn't even put
focus was. No, I never put what my focus. Cause for my show, I had drawings, paintings, a sculpture, and I had a lot of different stuff. So I took pride in that. But you are. Whoa, like I wanna ask how old you are so bad, just because you're so experienced. But I know I get because that's rude and stuff like that to
I
ask.
can answer that. I'm 24.
24, and you're younger than me. Like your knowledge of self, and like even the fact that you even said like a year, it'll go by year for how you do it. It just seems like your knowledge of how you like to create is just so deep. We're gonna get a lot more into that.
Thank you.
I think that's really, really awesome. But how about you, Topher? What is your medium of expertise, and what do you spend the most time on?
I am a photographer through and through. I always have been. Yeah, ever since I was like 10 years old.
Nice.
I started in film, and I love film. I still shoot it to this day. I love like just the hands-on part and the way the chemistry smells and feels, and going in the dark room, and a little scientific magic sort of happens before your eyes when you're developing. And I started shooting professionally probably about a decade ago, and then I got my degree, BFA in photography from MyEd, and I'd say because photography in and of itself is pretty broad. There's so many different facets to that. And I'd say my real passion is like photojournalism and documentary photography, storytelling, specifically having to do with like the human condition and cultures around the world, and what ties us all together, and people helping other people, philanthropy, that kind of stuff.
Some of like sociological.
Sociology?
Yeah, I'm thinking that, but like, how do you say it in the term of the sociological aspect? I think I just did it right there. I think the sociological aspects of the photography that's awesome.
Yeah, I think it's socioeconomic, and just like the social aspect, and how people from different cultures still have so much more in common than I think a lot of people these days like to give credit to.
Right.
We all bleed red kind of a thing. I've met so many people who have touched my heart and my life in so many ways that I couldn't even speak one word to. Just in my travels.
That's heavy. That's deep. That's awesome. Okay, dang it. All right, I got a list anyway, so that's cool. So, but quick, I can tell you traveled a lot. What's one of the favorite places that you've traveled to?
Oh, favorite place.
That's a good question.
I think we talked about this when I first met you guys, but that was a
while
while ago. My memory slipped, so.
I really liked Cambodia a lot.
Cambodia.
Yeah, I only got to spend about 4 days there, and really just one afternoon doing what I wanted to do.
Africa or something like it.
It's South
Asia.
Southeast
Asia. Cambodia is Asia.
Yeah, it's right on the border of Thailand.
Thailand and Laos and
Vietnam. Yeah, that's all right over there.
So what was that like, the Cambodian, and what made you pick Cambodia?
The people were just so excited to see Americans, or I don't know, just different people that weren't Cambodians. They all came. I kind of felt like a rock star at points.
Really? That's what's up.
People like a quarter mile away were roofing, and they all stopped and started like yelling and waving. I don't know, maybe
hello.
It wasn't a very touristy area, and we had kind of gone off the beaten path, the main roads, and went into the little back alleyways and got to see what life is really like for people that live there, not just on like the hotel strip. And I had lots of like little kids running up to us, and they look at their mom or their dad, and they'd say, yeah, it's okay,
Right,
and
but
they'd
you could
say
go,
hello,
yeah, you can
the
go
one
talk
word
to
that they
them,
know,
right.
yeah.
Yeah, they all knew
Oh,
hello.
that's so
It's
cool.
Like
very
everyone wants to
cute.
shake your hand, and the food was just fantastic. The hospitality was amazing.
Wow, that's what's up.
Yeah.
Remember that Cambodia. That sounds like a cool spot, especially if it's by Thailand. 'Cause Thailand, I think, is my next. Got to go to Italy, and that was my number one spot that I wanted to go to, like globally. Egypt is up there for me as well, but I feel like, I mean, it could be an ignorant statement. I'm not sure, but I feel like there's probably not as many places to go to artistically to see. Maybe maybe architecturally, maybe I'm underestimating the different architecture.
I actually
Right.
had one of your pieces shown in a school in Egypt.
Wow.
Uh-huh.
You had one of your pieces travel and be shown in
A print
Egypt.
show, yeah.
What?
It was it was a school thing. It was like a university global print show that everyone from around the world that like got in, everyone's work went
That's
to Egypt.
crazy.
Yeah, I didn't get to go physically, bummer,
Right,
but
hey, your art
I
got
know,
there, so a
it's
piece
so
of your
cool.
soul got to Egypt.
Yeah.
That's interesting. That's crazy. All right, so what's one of your favorite spots you traveled to? Did you go to Cambodia
I
as
did.
well?
I went to Cambodia. Oh man, that's hard.
I can't wait to be at that moment where I have to start recycling all the places I've been to. I can tell mad stories about Italy, but that's about all I got. The Bahamas too, I guess, but I was about 18-ish. And
Bahamas are
awesome.
sweet.
Yeah.
I've never been there.
Yeah, Bahamas
I
is
guess-
awesome. Go ahead.
Thailand was pretty great.
Well, we did meet there, so.
Yeah, that's true.
That's where y'all met in
Uh-huh.
Thailand?
Yeah.
What? Okay, see, that was going to be way later in the thing. Like, how did y'all meet? We weren't going to get to the fluffy, cute stuff yet, but if
Here
we're
it
already
is.
there,
Yeah,
hey, yeah.
traveling.
That's awesome. So, okay, you were both taking separate trips, I'm assuming.
Kind of, not really.
Or was it the same
It
trip?
was the same
School
trip.
trip.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was a
School
study
trip.
abroad.
Study abroad.
Okay, but you didn't know each other prior to the
Right.
trip.
Mm-mm.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, we went to the
That's
same school
And we got
for
roomed
3 years,
together.
and we actually
And
had
you got room together.
one. We had a class together at one point.
It was a lecture class. No one talked, so we didn't talk to each other or anything.
Wow.
I didn't sit by you.
No,
I sat in the back. You
I
sat
sat
in the front.
So you knew each other, you knew of each other, but you didn't know each other yet.
We knew the face, but we didn't
Okay.
speak.
So did the sparks fly, if you will, at Cam? Wait, no, it was Thailand. At Thailand, or was it after the fact?
It was in Thailand.
it was in
In
yeah,
Thailand?
yeah. We got a little flirty.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I followed her back. I was supposed to stay there and go to Japan for like another week, and I just couldn't wait anymore.
No,
I
no,
waited like
no,
one
no,
day, and I was
no.
like, nah.
I'm going where she's going, yo.
Yeah. Time to
Fucks
change
with
my
it, man.
ticket.
Yeah,
Right,
that
that's
was cool.
dope, man. That's so dope, man. That's crazy. Yeah, I envy that so much. One of these days, on some spontaneous
Maybe in
shit.
Thailand. Maybe when you go.
That would be nuts,
That would
right?
be awesome.
That would be y'all would be my ultimate lucky charm. My dream girl in
Yeah.
Thailand. I would hit y'all up. I'd have to find you. Like, yo, it happened. That'd be crazy. That'd be hilarious.
That would be awesome.
Mhm.
Okay, so where are y'all from originally? Like born?
Originally,
where you
I'm
used to
from
live, at least, I guess.
Arkansas. Born in Arkansas. Grew up a big chunk in Missouri.
Okay.
Columbia and St. Louis, Missouri, and then went to college up in Wisconsin. And then moved here to Austin 2 years ago.
hmm
Okay.
2 years ago, October.
Mhm.
I was born in Kansas City, Missouri, and then moved to.
KC,
Yeah.
what up? 816. We in Austin, Texas, and we got Missouri in the building, yo.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm a show me state guy.
So when did you move away from Kansas City?
I was real young. I don't remember. I was
Okay.
military family, and
Oh yeah.
yeah. So my dad got a position at Truex Field in Madison.
Hmm.
So I moved out there. Grew up on a farm in a small town called DeForest, about 25 minutes straight north of Madison. Lived there pretty much my whole life, and went to Milwaukee for art school, and then moved down here with her.
Wow, that's amazing. That's super cool. So I guess this is just a fun question to ask anybody. I feel like what is especially for artists in particular. I think there are like vivid moments we have generally when you do it a lot? What are some of your like first art memories, like maybe for you in particular, like with a camera or of any sorts? Whenever you like, it's a two-part question because sometimes it's like, what are some of your first art memories, and then like when did you really fall in love with? Sometimes at the same time. For me, it wasn't like that though.
Gotcha.
And that goes for like both of you. So
Okay.
first art memories, if you will.
First art memories. Probably back in like elementary school. I loved my art teacher, Mr. Sargent.
That's dope. Did that fish just jump in?
Yeah, they
They're
splash
hungry.
water out sometimes.
That's dope.
When they want to get attention.
They want attention.
That's cool shit. That's crazy. So elementary school,
I really
cool.
enjoyed it.
Awesome.
Didn't really do anything with it until high school. I really started to get into photography and videography in particular. Had a really good program, and my teacher, Mr. Grippentrog, really he fostered a lot of creativity and gave us a lot of freedom for projects and stuff like that. And
man, it's so cool when you get to that point of
you
can do what you want to do in that.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we were like screenwriting and emulating like Hitchcock and stuff like that because my family's all about the old school films.
Okay.
And that's when I really, I was like, man, I got to do this. And my parents were like, no, that's a hobby, not a real job.
Man, yeah.
Oh.
I talk about the
All
importance
right.
of that a lot, like whether a parent like nurtures that artistic ability or that not the ability but the passion, yeah, that passion for it, whether a parent nurtures that or is like just a hobby. So
Yeah,
Whew,
get a real job,
right.
you know, because I was like, I want to go to college for photography.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no, you should go for like business administration or go into the military or do something like that. And I didn't like any of those ideas.
So did you even like consider it at all, or was it just straight photography through and you knew it?
So I got a degree in, well, not really a degree, it's a vocational welding certification, and I was a steel worker. And
Oh, that's a good
jack of all trades.
Yeah, that's a great skill to have.
Yeah,
so I want to get good with some metals and stuff.
Did that with industrial stuff for a couple of years, and then went back to school just for business administration. Was what I started doing, you know, to get like a white collar career type deal. Yeah. And we had to take electives, so I would always take photo classes.
Slid in one of them. That's what I did, yo, yeah.
And then like, oh man, I'm really like doing horrible in this business class, so maybe we'll just drop that and add in another one so I can keep my full-time status as a student. And the first time they got the report card, they're like, what are all these art classes doing on here? You know, you don't need all of these, but just look, you know, it's like D, C-, and then like A+ for all the art stuff, and that's when it started to, I think, to click.
So was this deliberate or?
It was deliberate.
Okay, that's fucking brilliant. First,
breaking them down.
I respect your gangster in that for one. Like, but then I think it would have been awesome either way if like he was like, nah, I was really trying, but like it just wasn't working out, and like just because for me that's kind of how it was. Like college was not a smooth process for me, like especially in the history courses, even art history. I'm like, fuck all this memorization shit.
Yes.
Oh my god, all this memorizing trivial knowledge that I'm never gonna have to use until you go to Italy and you're seeing all these buildings and you're like, oh my god, I forgot all the terminology. I failed you, Martha. I'm sorry. But anyways, like I hate stuff like that. But that's man, that was clever though. Smooth shit. Hey, you slid. You was getting in there whether they wanted you or not. And
I knew it was what I had
yeah.
to do. It, you know,
I
it was just my
that.
calling. I knew inside that
You're stubborn enough.
I needed to be a professional storyteller.
We're similar in that regard too, because you said you started this. I think you kind of started like getting a track. I compare art to like a woman, or you can for a male, for what you will. Like just in terms of falling in love with, I always say I treated art like a side piece, like all through high school. Just was there, and I was like, yeah, it's cool, but like, I ain't that worried about it. And it sounds like you would kind of like flirted with it in high school around that time. You're like, yo, I'm kind of digging this, and then college hits, you do the welding thing, all that other stuff, and then you got in them electives, and I'm like, yo, like, and boom, from that part, it's just been take off ever since.
Yep. Pretty much.
Awesome.
Long story short.
Love that shit. Right, yeah. Love
I mean,
that
I could go on
shit.
forever. I was I graduated high school in 2005, and that entire time until I graduated MyEd in 2014, I was taking college courses
That's almost 10 years.
of some kind, at least part-time.
Yeah, I was in college
Long
for
time.
7, so hey, I feel you, dog. It was, man,
Did my
I'm not
time.
proud of it, but
Got
I
my
don't
piece of
regret
paper.
none of it, though. Yeah, 'cause
Right?
I learned so much from them different things. Like, I studied psychology for a couple years, and I think that's really what opened me up to the idea of, like, people can be very different, but we're so similar in our own regards. And I think those courses are what started to open me up towards that and humbling myself, and assuming that I know what the most people I try not to say like most people, unless I really feel like that way. Like, most people seem to like Marvel movies over DC. Drives me nuts personally, but hey, like, they make cute movies, so like whatever. But anyways, all right. So your turn, Sarah, for like first art memories and like when you may have fell in love with it.
Huge point in my childhood was when my grandma got me. It was one of those easels, but it was one side was a marker board and one side was a chalkboard.
Fisher Price.
Yeah,
ones,
it was like the little Fisher Price ones. Yeah. And I got that for one Christmas.
One side was a marker board, and one side you could flip it, and it was a chalkboard.
Yeah, it stood like this.
Ooh, that's crispy.
In my room.
Yeah.
So I feel like that was a huge point in my childhood where I just like could draw every day, could erase it, like didn't have to get anything out, like it was always out.
Chalk
like
is so fun.
My dad and I would sit and do like the line game where like I draw a line and he draw a line and like I draw a line. Like we did that a bunch.
Had to like match the lines.
Well, and you just like take turns drawing
you would just do something
one
and
picture.
and y'all would like build. Oh, okay.
Huh. That was huge.
Wow, that's what's up.
And then I think when I realized I wanted to do it professionally or like for college and everything was high school. My art teacher really pushed me to like actually apply to art school because I was like, nah, like I'm not that good. Like you have to be so good to go and all this stuff. And like I didn't really have the confidence in my art and myself to do that.
I feel you on that one.
And then she was like, no, you should apply. You should go visit. You should do it. And she was like, you're good enough. You should go. So I think those two things were probably the biggest for my like art history.
Having those people like push you and be there for you, because you clearly care for it, and that's important sometimes. We need a little push.
Well, and then like I like so many things, like, and then you get to college and you gotta pick one, even if it's not like one specific art, painting or drawing or whatever, but like just in general, like like I like psychology, I like science, I like art, I like so many different things. I was just like, I'm gonna take my 2 free years of college. I had like 2 free years of this college like right next to my house, and my dad was like, don't do that, like you don't want to live here during college. And I was like, I'll save so much money. He was like, no, like he really pushed me to like go.
That's
he was
what's
like,
up, Dad.
he was like,
Get
branch
out.
Yeah,
Get out for a little bit. Like, not even selfishly for him, but like for you too. Like, go experience some shit.
He knew,
like,
he was like, you don't want to have me here when you come home for like, after a party. You're like,
word. Like,
I was like, now that you mention it,
Dad was a real one, yo. Like, that's awesome.
Steve's the man. He's cool.
That's dope as
my
shit.
parents were definitely all like totally fine with me going with the arts, and they were very supportive the whole time. My mom was kind of like, how are you gonna make money and support yourself? And she was very cautious about like, why would you major in printmaking when that doesn't make any money? It's
pretty much dead.
It's pretty much dead. So
talk
like,
about it. Like,
and
it's so sad too. Like, cause it's like, I got it. We have to. I don't know if you have an image of it, or like I'm assuming you have a really clean image of it. Like, gotta send that to me so we can slide that in around this time so we can talk about that and just like printmaking is such a beautiful thing, and I'm so glad we had to take that, or I never even would have did it. But just between the relief carving, it's such a freeing process, and just I think what's the word when you're like tearing something up, but it feels good to do it. There's a word for this.
Oh yeah.
I don't know.
But it's spacing me, but whatever. It just felt nice to just get to dig into something. And
Yeah.
get to
And
do
that's why I picked printmaking, was because it was like kind of the only option that had all of the other majors in itself.
Mm-hmm.
Because all the teachers were very open to like whatever you want to do. If you want to like make some stamp for some pillows and like sew them up and like or like do clothing design and like screen print that, like, you know, you could make a sculpture out of your prints. Like,
that's cool.
You know, it was so many different things into one.
They were aware, like, you can do whatever you want. You just literally have to pick something.
Have a print,
Yeah. My teacher, that's interesting. And so printmaking was the one you did because it felt like that gave you the most options to play with all of your fun medium parts.
Yeah.
Which I have another question in a second with that. But it's interesting because I did that same thing kind of, but mine was drawing because the way at least all my teachers at least agree that drawing is the fundamental medium for like all art forms, it seems. And it doesn't, not saying that you need to be able to draw. We kind of talked about this prior to, not saying you need to be able to draw to do anything else, but once you have that knowledge of drawing things, regardless whatever the subject matter is, you can branch out. You can't say that if you can draw, you can't say that you can't pick up a paintbrush and learn how to draw with the paintbrush, or with chalk on a chalkboard, or just a stylus, or regardless, a lot of different things. But a question for you in particular, because it seems like you have, like, you said something about not being confident in some regards, and I can relate to that for sure, needing people to push me sometimes. But in terms of your different mediums, you seem to have this fearlessness to just dive into a fuck ton of mediums. And granted, like me personally, I was telling people when I was 16, I can't draw with a pen. Or like I can't paint. Like I told people before I even really tried it. So like I take so much pride now that the fact that I will look at a medium, like, yeah, give me a little bit and I can figure it out, and people can take that however. But I remember that I really didn't believe in myself for a while until I really just sat down and tried it. But it seems like you didn't really have that block for the medium. So if you can, how did you kind of get through that? So what gives you think that fearlessness to try so much different shit?
I think it has a lot to do with, like, my mindset, like, how, you know, when I'm creating a piece for myself, there's no pressure. There's no, like, you know, I can try whatever I want. If it doesn't work, like, that's fine. I'll just throw it out, start a new one. But, like, I don't know, when it turns to something like it's a school project and you gotta turn it in and get a grade, or if, like, your mom wants you to paint something for her, there's all this, like, okay, well, now I have to be, like, I don't know, real artist and like show it to other people, and like there's this pressure that I think I had to overcome, that like just for everyone else to see my art, because like I could do whatever and you know, fearless, but if there's like an end goal of like other people seeing it, that's where I get all like, oh, I don't know, I question myself, but I've learned not to do that. After so many years,
right?
You know?
Yeah. What do you think kind of got you through that part? You think that struggle of? Cause that's a genuine fear. Like that's happened when I've done music and performing for music. Or I'll never forget the very first time I rapped in the booth, quote unquote. But they're like, "All right, Track, it's your turn," and my chest just. Boom, boom, boom. Like immediately, like I had to take my shirt off from sweating. I was just so hot and just nervous, but I just equate that to it's something that's good for you, I guess. So I don't know, that I guess that's just my way of how I got through it. Anytime something makes me that nervous, I feel like it's important for me to try it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But how about yourself? How do you think you got through those challenges? Especially for the commissions and stuff, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I mean, experience helps. That helped a lot. But as far as just like starting out and just trying to build up that confidence, that self-confidence in yourself, and not worry about what anyone else thinks.
There was a lot of stressing out in the beginning.
There was.
When we first started the business.
Especially being, when we first started the business, I was, was that 22?
Yeah.
And I was, I don't know, just a little 22-year-old girl, and I felt...
The artist couple designs business, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, and I just felt really small, and I felt people, like, would, I don't know. art's already kind of a thing that I feel like a lot of people brush off as like not a real job kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it took a few months for me to like build up the courage to like stand by my prices and stand by like my quality and like
I'm still trying to get to that.
You know, sell yourself fully believing that like you're the best. You know, and like there's always a question there. I feel like sometimes.
Man, yeah, that's a deep thing. Did you ever have to go through some of those type? How about like some of your struggles in terms of getting to that point of the, for lack of a better term, branching to the professionalism side? Some of the struggles you might have went through.
Yeah, I think photography is hard because there's so many of us. Yeah, back in the day, only so many people had cameras and access to be able to develop and print and stuff like that. And I feel like with professional grade or semi-professional grade digital SLRs and mirrorless and everything these days, the image quality and sharpness and latitude and ability to edit post-process with shooting raw and stuff like that, it's really up the bar for competition. And I think was probably the hardest thing, was competing with the weekend professionals, being a full-time professional, and also, yeah, just the confidence, believing in myself that my work is really good. It's definitely not as good as some other people's, you know, that you see on the internet and stuff, and I will always aspire to be better, but being confident with my work and my style, and when people come to me, it's because they like my work, not because they want something, I don't know, specific, or
more because they're invested in. Like one of my homies, I think you reminded me of something. One of my homies said when somebody's buying something from you, they're buying like a piece of you, because like for lack of a better term, how he said, because they fuck with you. That's why they're buying it. Like it's not just. I mean, you're good too. Like, but it's because they like you. So just I don't know. It sounds like that's kind of what you were saying. Like
I don't think I explained it very well, but
that's
that acceptance of that. But no, yeah, it is a thing. Like just to be confident in oneself, because ultimately you're the person they're buying it from, and just whatever it is, whatever that medium is, just having that confidence in it, I think is huge. But it's so much easier said than done. It's tough getting through those challenges, but that's awesome. Y'all have such a good awareness of where y'all are at. So I've already asked a little bit about some of the different challenges that you go with and how you kind of break through those. Or I don't think I've necessarily gotten to that part in terms of like, because we all kind of seem to get artist block, and I think I have a feeling on how you probably get through it. But I guess I'm gonna start with you, Topher, because I'm more curious on if and when you feel stuck sometimes, how you break through those.
Yeah, that happened a lot in school. Just trying to come up with a solid concept and bring it through to fruition and have a good final product. I think I don't know. I guess the biggest issue in the beginning is just coming up with an idea, something like a concept that is solid, that's not like ubiquitous or overdone and stuff
aesthetic,
like that.
Yeah, I'm still searching for one.
Yeah, and
with
then
the drawings and stuff.
Being able to completely throw that out the window if I have to. So one of the two things that I always used to do is like I would get a concept and I would like try and force that concept, and I wouldn't allow the creative freedoms to just let it be organic and build fluidly, you know, like it's got to be this way because this was my idea. And I found that the concept is a really good starting point, but from there you just have to let your heart and your passions guide you. And I've always had a more successful final product doing that than I have when I'm pinned down to one certain idea. So I think that's how I get over it, is just allowing myself to work organically and giving myself the freedom and not having any like predisposition of what the final product is supposed to look like.
Yeah, man, that hits home for me really, really deep in a lot of different ways because I'm really, really driven with an idea and what I think it should be like. Like, first idea that comes off top was like I made an album, a body work of music, and I'm super proud of it still to this day. But in hindsight, I can look back and say that I was so big on trying to get the emotion out and trying to make sure it was raw and just so good emotionally. It was called Emotions Captured in Time. I wanted to make sure it was just raw, that I didn't focus on the good music part to make good songs that people want to hear again and again and again and that part. But it sounds like you have this really good quality to be able to check yourself. So are there like any examples where you might have been like, because you said something about having a aesthetic and then just being able to throw it out, or just having an idea and just being able to throw it out. Are there any examples that come off top?
No, like real big projects. I think most of that was just small assignments and stuff in school. School really helped shape my mind more than I think my visual aesthetic. Because I knew that I always wanted to be a photographer that made money on photography, you know, like,
right.
and like a lot of the fine art photography stuff isn't very accessible or marketable on like a commercial scale. So I feel like when I went to school, I was a commercial photographer living in a fine artist world, and my teachers gave me a lot of crap about that at first because everything always had to be visually like and aesthetically pleasing, and it was pretty shallow in concept in the beginning. But we worked together and they taught me how to think critically about concepts while also maintaining like a marketable aesthetic to something, and that was really hard to blend those together, and that's where I ran into a lot of problems in the beginning. But yeah, just experience and a lot of failure, then a lot of talking to teachers and other people to open my mind and approach a problem from multiple angles rather than just one.
Talking to people.
Lots of failure. Lots of failure.
Right, yeah. That's a key to...
I think I learned more from failures than I do from success. And I just fully embrace that at this point in life. I know that not everything's going to be a winner 100% of the time.
Yeah, I probably need to embrace that more for real. Wow, that's amazing. So you talked about like how you like to do this storytelling of photography. There's so many different ways where you could tell a story. Like my first thing is I automatically think of like for war movies, you know how they had like photographers to go out, and that was like a vivid way to tell the stories before they started making these epic movies for war movies. So like, are there any particular types of narratives that you like to show or depict, or in this part, if we have photos, it's almost like
yeah, I've got a few photos we can put in here. Gosh. Yeah, the human condition, and that's kind of vague, I feel like, to a lot of people, but I guess I love being able to capture people helping other people and telling those stories. The past couple of years, and for my thesis actually, I worked with nonprofits around the world, and I went to Honduras a couple of times, and I went to Kenya with nonprofits who worked primarily with children and rural communities who were underserved, and they would go there and build infrastructure for education and clean drinking water.
wow.
So I think those are probably the two biggest things. The statistics are staggering, and I can't think of them off the top of my head, but it's something like, I don't know, 80% of kids in Kenya miss at least like a month of school because of waterborne illnesses. So they kind of go hand in hand, and they're serving these communities with clean drinking water, and they're also creating the infrastructure and educating local adults to be teachers there. So it's not just we come in, for a photo op and then we leave, but they're actually investing in the communities and having community members invest in themselves as well. And I love capturing those stories of people bridging gaps and bridging, racial divides or, socioeconomic, status divides and coming together to help each other out for the pure sake of just acknowledging that we're all human and we're all in this together.
That's awesome.
Those
awesome.
are the big things.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see some of your stuff that I think you painted a really good picture on that. Just taking pictures of people helping people, just because that's what we're on this earth for, essentially.
It's a good educational tool for people that just don't know what's going on in a lot of places. And
it's important because I feel like there's so much. Everyone pays attention to the negative a little more than the positive in the world.
Right.
So
right.
It needs to be captured.
Right.
Yeah, and the resilience of the human spirit in those places where they maybe make $100 a year or something like that, and they live in dirt floor little huts.
But they're so happy.
Yeah.
And they have the happiest life, and they love their life even though it's what we would think as like, ridiculous.
Right. No smartphone. What would I do?
Right. Yeah.
They're tough. They're happy. They work together as a community, and they're so generous with, people who come in. I've had people give, this is the fish we caught today, but we're gonna all share it, even though we only have this, and just the generosity of people.
Wow, that's awesome. I can't wait to see some of your stuff. So, what about your challenges and how like you get through those periods of like feeling stuck?
Okay.
Like them artist blocks and how you get through those moments when you feel stuck and how do you get through those, Sarah?
Yeah, I had a bad artist block for about like a whole year, my sophomore year of college. Yeah, that was rough, especially when you have assignments you have to fill and you're just like not feeling anything that you produce. And it was hard. I did a lot of going back through my old work and trying to make something new out of something that I already made, since everything that I was making at the time of my block, just like I hated it. So I went back to all my old work, all my old sketchbook pages, tried to find, inspiration from like what I've already done in the past. So that helped me a lot, and just pushing through it. I don't know. Is there a cure for artist block? I don't think so.
Right.
Time?
Yeah.
Maybe just time.
I think that. Yeah. I think that's it.
Just getting the crap out.
Yeah, failing. Just producing a bunch
You're not feeling it.
Oh,
get the shit out of it.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah.
It can't all be bad, so you just gotta keep on going through
I will
it.
get one.
Starting a new medium, that's a good way. Because then, like, when you start something new, you don't have any expectations for yourself. So when something turns out bad, you're like, oh, I didn't really expect it to go. I didn't expect it to go that well, so whatever. So I feel like
keep that in the back pocket. Just
if
I ever feel stuck at a few different things, I'm like, well, try a new medium.
Yeah,
I think my heart's telling me to sculpt again, like very, very soon. Anyways, anyways, yeah. I figured that would be like your go-to, just because you're so versatile anyway with so many different mediums.
Switch it up.
Right, yeah. Like, well, if this drawing's
new.
not working out, I'm gonna go paint. And like,
Yeah.
Huh. That's interesting. So when was your first mural? Because you said you've done a mural, and I saw on y'all's Insta stories you was like literally painting a room. Was it in here or?
Oh no, that was at a house up in Round Rock.
That process was so cool to see. Just you guys Was this a joint thing, or was this just her getting down?
He came one day.
Okay.
And to fill in some tree trunks.
There you go.
But it was mostly me for like 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Just going up, painting the whole room, ceiling and all.
I tape lines.
Hey,
Yeah.
hey, man, somebody
He's
gotta
good at
do it,
moving the
right?
ladder when I have to hold a bunch of paint.
Yeah,
I'm like,
that's
move the ladder over
what's
there.
Yeah.
up. Hey, there you go, yo.
Helpful. My first mural was...
Westwood High School.
No, it wasn't.
Was
My
it?
first one was a ceiling.
Oh, that's right.
Which
forgot
I didn't
about
know
that
at the
one.
time I should charge extra for ceiling murals because your neck hurts so bad you gotta go get a massage. Because you're like looking
You're
like
right,
this.
right. So
Yeah.
that's what I was gonna ask, because I know like Michelangelo had like a scaffold and was like laying on the scaffold.
I didn't
so,
have
like,
that.
Right, yeah. So
Unfortunately.
you just on a ladder and just happened to look up.
I was
Uh-huh.
on a ladder.
Ooh, how high up was you?
Oh, it was like 8 feet. It was like 10-foot ceilings, I think.
It's not
But
terribly high up, but
that was my first mural, and the guy was like, I don't want to pay you more than 8 hours worth. So like it was like I have to get it done. That was their budget. It was like 8 hours. They didn't want me to stay longer. So it's one day, 8 hours looking at this ceiling.
what'd you have to paint?
It was a like starry night, cloudy stars sky with some planets.
Wait, but in the style of Starry Night? Or
No,
are you
no,
just
no.
saying like, oh,
it was
okay.
just a starry night, yeah,
oh,
sky.
okay. I thought you meant the Van Gogh. I was like, what? You wanted a Van Gogh in 8 hours?
the
like,
ceiling,
fuck
yeah.
you, dude. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
like.
I probably would have tried and then failed.
Right.
Yeah.
Huh.
But and then halfway through, the wife came in and was like, I don't really like it. And so, like, I was like, I got 4 hours to fix this. It was stressful. I learned a lot. That was my first mural. That was
You
two
get
and a
paid?
half years ago.
You
What?
get paid for it?
Oh, yeah.
That's
I
what's
got a good
up.
review. I got
Oh.
paid. I did it, and I had like 2 minutes to spare. I got off the ladder, and I was like, "It's done." And they were looking at their watch. Like it was the
Holy
most.
shit.
Yeah, they
You
must
was
have
like
been
on
really
some
worried.
TV show type.
No.
That
No
shit was
pressure,
recorded,
no pressure,
right?
yeah.
30 seconds.
Yeah.
That's
One last dot.
crazy. Wow.
Yeah, that one was
Wow.
rough. But
So you've done a few murals.
yeah,
Mhm.
that's
what's
been
up.
my main thing in Austin. Just because.
Really?
Yeah, I wanted to take a break from printmaking because I had just done my whole thesis, spent the last 3 years in college doing all that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I really just wanted to get back into drawing and painting, and we came here, and murals was like the big thing. That was what people want. That was the easiest way to like make money while doing art, and
Right.
so that's was like, I guess I'm gonna do that.
Right.
So, but yeah, that was my first one, and I hadn't really done anything bigger than like 4 feet
Mm-hmm.
by like 2 feet before.
Until the ceiling. And
Till I started doing murals, and like the way you have to think, like I kept trying to use like really small brushes for like giant things, and it would take me like hours, and I'm like, why am I just not using a bigger brush?
Big
Like,
ass brushes, yeah.
it's
Cause
like silly things you don't think about.
so I at least know the part of like the perspective, like just from a drawing standpoint of the painting. Sometimes you got to back away from it a good 5-10 feet just to see it. Like,
Yeah.
does that ample when you're doing that in a mural? Do you got to stop to back up that many more times just because you don't really know, or did you ever get like a camera to like view it while you're doing that?
Yeah, I want like
that'd
a
be
live
pretty though, right?
stream camera eventually. Yeah, that
You don't even know how
that'll
to
be
do
the
that.
next thing. But yeah, no, I would just stop, back away. I did a lot of squinting because squinting kind of gives you the feeling that you're not close to it. But then like my eyes started hurting when I squint so much, so I had to stop doing that. But yeah, lots of going up on the ladder, getting off the ladder, looking at it.
Right.
Yeah, it's a process.
So how'd you get into the Mural Market? Did you like find some like website online, or you just?
Yeah, we would go through
Gotcha.
Thumbtack. They have a lot of mural jobs. And,
There's some. I think I'm on that, and every now and like there's somebody looking for portrait artistry, and I just never entertain them. But
yeah.
I felt like every now and then I should, because some of them like, man, I can knock something out so easy right now. Like
Sometimes it's worth it, and like you'll get a bunch of jobs, and you'll cover the cost that it costs to like bid for them, and sometimes you'll just like no one will answer you for like a month.
What do you mean?
Yeah, so how it works is like you pay to like bid, and only like 5
because
people.
multiple artists want to do this, so you got to
Yeah.
pay just to get paid.
You gotta pay just to even know if you're gonna get paid. So sometimes you pay and you don't get paid. Sometimes you pay and then you get paid,
I don't think
way
I'd
more.
wanna bid. Do you have to bid? That only happens sometimes, right?
No, you have to pay if you want to bid, and the only way you can get a job is to bid.
Oh, I just figured because like they ask for information. I just figured they kind of read your thing like a little thesis, and they just go through and like, I want that one.
I wish.
Yeah, me too.
They should make a website that you
I
don't
just
have
go
to
off
pay.
the strength of my thesis. Like, if you don't like the way I'm talking in this like little paragraph right there, you can go find somebody else.
Yeah.
Give me 3 pictures and a thesis. There you go. What's up? You want some business or not?
I wish.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Maybe if that's not out there, damn it, man. I feel like I do
Get
this a
on
lot.
it.
Sometimes I throw shit out there that's not out there yet, and then it happens, and I'm like, damn, man, I just don't know how to do that shit. But,
Yeah.
Anyways, you bounce around and you do so many different mediums, and like you said, you had a period where you wanted to stop with the printmaking, and murals is what you do now for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
So for the mural part, do you do like preliminary sketches for that?
Yeah, I do. I like sit down with whoever I'm doing it for, and then we talk about like what they want, like kind of have a little questionnaire that we go through of like, do you have any colors that you want, subject and like the feeling and that kind of stuff, and then I usually sketch it out. I used to do it all, by hand sketch. I've done preliminary acrylic paintings, I've done preliminary watercolors, I've done preliminary just black and white drawings. Like now I've started using the iPad and my Apple Pencil because that's just way faster and I can get a lot more detail down. But
cool. What's your favorite paint?
My favorite paint?
Like, acrylic, tempera, oil, watercolor.
It used to be acrylic, and then I got really big into watercolor, which I still really like, but I think I really like latex paint. I really like wall paint.
Shit.
After doing murals, it doesn't dry fast. It's not like acrylic where like it's so thick. It's a little thinner. I just think it's a lot easier to use, but maybe it's because I've been doing it for the past 2.5 years
you're doing
so much.
big ass walls and shit. I never.
So whenever I go to like
My
acrylic,
first thought was like the shit you can just peel off. When you're doing it on brick walls, latex paint or whatever it is that you're doing. Wow, that was a hell of a month.
because I always have so much of it left over, so it's like I always have some. We have probably 100 gallons like.
So when you're not doing
If
a
anybody
mural,
needs latex paint.
so when you're not doing a mural, because that was probably the most untraditional "what's your favorite paint" answer I think I'll ever get right there.
Probably.
When you're not doing a mural, what's your favorite paint? Like, say if you just was bored right now and just wanted to do one, or if you had
Probably acrylic.
acrylic.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't touched oils in a long time, but I'm just really impatient. And so the fact that acrylic dries so fast, like I like that. And like watercolors has been pushing my patience too, because like it takes a long time to like get used to that medium, which I never have until recently. So that's been a fun challenge, and I'm starting to like it a lot more now that I'm improving, and you can see that it's improving.
Right.
So yeah, I don't know. It's hard. I don't know if I could choose a favorite for many things about art.
Oh yeah, nor should you have to. I'm learning to phrase that better because I can just see the cycle go through people's head of like that's so painful, and even thinking, what if somebody asks you what's your favorite medium, Kyle? Like, man, that depens on what I'm trying to do.
What's your favorite musician? It's like, oh, there's so many. Like,
see, that might be easier for me. Like the art, that's too hard. So I think now I just try and transition it to like, what do you spend the most time on? It's that one kind of.
That might not be your favorite though.
Fair, yeah. And then I'm gonna try and dig into whatever their favorite is, because that's just how I am. I want to find whatever it is that you love more than anything else. That's just me though. I like to pick at that stuff.
Yeah,
so what about a subject matter? Because we've gotten Topher. Topher explained his so vividly, and his pictures were just amazing to say the least. But like, if you had a favorite subject matter, whether it's painting, drawing, or whatever, what are you drawn to?
Landscape. Definitely.
Landscapes.
Nature. I'm not a portrait person. I'm not like I like doing animals, but landscapes, by far my favorite.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
Or just like dissecting landscapes, like this one that you like so much, like how it's like would you even call it a landscape? I mean, I guess it's a seascape.
I
but
think so.
like,
It's just like a Japanese style.
right. It's
Yeah, I think Japanese. I'm pretty sure.
it's
Yeah.
got some Japanese.
Definitely more abstract.
Yeah,
than
they definitely had in the Japanese ones, like their inks.
And
They have them big
the
ass
line.
long ones, and there's a lot of negative space.
Yes.
And then towards the bottom or towards one area, like the way they apply their negative space and the positive negative interplay is just amazing. I think that's
I'm
what
glad because that was one of the
today,
things I
yeah.
was really trying to focus on was negative space because one of my struggles is like knowing when to stop because I'm such a detail person and so like I'll just add details until
right.
it's a maze and like people have to like look at it for hours to like see all this stuff. But
So do you got like some drawings? Sorry to cut you off, but
Oh,
like
that's
drawings or paintings of some of your landscapes that are. Because I'd like to see. I can tell
yeah.
already. You
I
probably have
got
some of the
a
most
bunch.
intricate, crazy, detailed landscapes that I'd look at and be like, see, no, never. Like.
Yeah.
Which is so funny because I'm the same. I'm meticulous as fuck. I'm trying to get every muscle in the bone structure and trying to make sure the lengths are right and the
Yeah.
depths and all of that. But I look at trees and I'm like, oh my gosh, so many different greens and
I know, right?
man, I think I like drawing landscapes more than I like painting landscapes. But
See, I
just
probably
simply
do the opposite.
probably the opposite.
I think I'd like painting. Yeah, drawing. My drawing style is really. I don't even know what you would call it. It's very technical.
Very clean and crisp.
Yeah, which is a lot harder to like. Landscapes are so I don't know. Trees, they're like so organic. Like
Right.
it's not like a architecture where there's like straight lines
Right,
and
you
like
don't
there's
need
a
to
right.
rule it right.
Yeah, but I don't know. I feel like a brush lends more to like the organic feel of like a landscape.
That makes sense.
But that's just me.
Yeah, that's the knowledge of self cracking again, though. Just the fact that you know the way your mind works, so you're like, "God, it's pointless for me to draw a landscape because I'll get too into it." Whereas,
Yeah, it would take me a long time to finish.
yeah. See, for me, I think I learned it when I got in a plein air contest. Like, I just don't have a very good knowledge of color yet. My knowledge of color and how to replicate colors versus even if it's those trees outside to be able to. There's probably like 5 different greens right there, but I just don't have that knowledge to separate those yet. And I haven't just dove into that as much yet, which is really, really cool when you see those impressionistic paintings. I love that style so much. Just the minimal effort of just if you have this green circular thing and if you put the right pink dabs on there, it'll look like a rose bush from 10 feet away and it'll look like a real rose bush. And then you go over and look at just some damn pink blobs of green. Like, how do they do that?
There's no
Like,
actual detail there
Right?
when you get up close, but
That's what
it all
I'm
comes
trying
together.
to start doing. Like, I feel like the confidence was huge to like just be able to like relax enough to get those strokes because they're not technical strokes.
Right,
They're emotional, you know?
Yeah.
And like you have to really be confident to just be like, this is my blobby bush and like this is going to work out, you know? And then it does and you're like, blobby bush is now a rose bush.
Yeah, right. There you go. Yeah, it's so fun watching some plein air painters do it in the big ones, especially when they have to do like a slash go across, the confidence that they do that with.
Yeah.
One of my professors, he rings in my head all the time on my drawing, and I'm finally starting to push myself with my line work now because he always called it chicken scratch drawing, the way I just meticulously dance around, and I'll clean it up later with an eraser. But like he's right. I'm not confident with my line work to just do a straight circle.
See, with my drawing, I'm very like confident with my lines, but with painting, I'm trying to loosen up, which I haven't found out how to do that with drawing. But
that balance is so interesting, right?
Yeah.
Trying to free up sometimes, like just fucking relax.
I know.
And then other times we're like, nah, we gotta get that right there. Yeah, that's a tough
Knowing
balancing game, yo.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, like, it's a really tough balancing game for sure. I think we're kind of getting into it with you already, but I'm a little curious because you said you've mentioned Topher, you've mentioned film as well. It's a difficult question, but I think Sarah could probably relate in a little bit. Like, there's different freedoms, I think, in trying different mediums that you just get different things out of it, and just especially considering how you do film as well. I don't know to what extent, but if you could kind of elaborate on just some of the different freedoms you get out of maybe not even film versus photography, but doing your socioeconomic style versus doing other styles, and just how that can be liberating to do some of those different things.
Yeah, I'm still pretty new into the video stuff, and honestly, a lot of my videos just been like real estate stuff, just learning the medium, because it does handle a lot different than shooting like raw photography and stuff like that. So it's been interesting, a lot more planning. There's a lot more technical aspects that go into like a film production, as opposed to just going out and shooting stills.
Right.
So that's been really interesting. I discovered very fast that video does not edit nearly the same way as photos do.
Can you elaborate on that? I'm not really...
You have so much latitude and leeway with when you're shooting raw. Like I shoot Nikon at full frame, and so when I shoot NEFs, there's so much flexibility for the exposure and the color and contrast and everything afterwards. Yeah, for a photo. Whereas with video, it just doesn't handle nearly the same way. Everything kind of interacts with each other. So like, when you change exposure and contrast, you get color shifts a lot more with video than you do with still frames. So that was something that was really interesting. And if I forget to set the white balance on video, it's not like a raw photo where I can just go in and just change the white balance. You only get so much flexibility with that kind of stuff. So that's been interesting, learning the limitations of the new medium, and a lot more pre-thought goes into things before you start shooting than I usually do with still frames. But I think that's also just because I grew up shooting stills, and I just had that base knowledge so much longer ago than I do with the video stuff now. So that's been interesting.
How about this one? Because you do, I forgot, I remember you said something about the dark room, and as frustrating as that was, that process for me, going back on that, like I remember taking one of my roles to my professor, and I'm pretty sure I was cussing. I was so frustrated. I'm like, dog, I don't know what to fucking do anymore. Like, I keep burning all my fucking film, and I'm making really good stuff right now. I know I got good shots, and I'm ruining all of them. Can you help me, please? Like, and he just I'll never forget the look on his face. Like this kid cares so much, but just he's so frustrated. He couldn't help but just laugh at me. He loved. Shout out to you, Mr. Labor. I hope you listen to this podcast one day. Like those moments where I was frustrated, he always was tickled to death from day one. He loved it. But anyways, what I'm getting at, because I remember those moments in a dark room when you get something good. Like I don't know too many other comparable things, even in any of my other mediums, where like when you know you got a good shot and then you pull it out of that liquid, whichever liquid it is, I forgot, and then it starts to develop just like you thought it was. That moment is probably like that's like a full court shot in basketball. That's like the ultimate touchdown dance moment. Like I can't compare it to many other things. I still remember that. Like I missed the dark room just because of that. But I guess to get your perspective, right? Yeah, to get your perspective, how do you feel about digital versus the traditional way of photography?
I think they both have their applications and practical aspects, as well as creative stuff as well. I love film, and especially black and white. Just a huge fan of black and white film photography. Yeah, I love the way, like, the feel and just the underlying representations when you're using that medium as opposed to like a digital medium, or using black and white as opposed to color. And like, what are you trying to convey in the subject matter, and how is what you're using going to like emphasize that or take away from that, like that focus when you're creating. So I think it just depends on what the concept is for me as far as what I decide that I'm going to use. But there's no replacement. You can't fake film, in my opinion. I know a lot of people will probably argue with me about that, but there's just something about the look and feel of film as opposed to shooting it digitally and then turning it into a black and white and adding some film grain artificially and that kind of stuff. It's just, it's not the same, in my opinion. And I even use like different brands of film if I'm shooting, you know, like people or things. I'll use different film companies because the grain structure lends itself to you know, be more flattering for that specific subject matter that I'm shooting.
Right.
So I really kind of nerd out and I get into it.
I'll
even use different types of digital cameras based on, you know, like the subject matter as well if I want a different look and feel.
So even within getting a digital camera, you'll try and get something that can still get that film type of effect.
Or just the unique aspects of that particular camera. As I used to shoot, we do a lot of like adventure photography and backpacking and that kind of stuff.
Right.
And I had this little Canon S100 pocket camera. It was nice. It was a really small sensor, but it shot raw, which I liked, and I could fit it in my pocket. It didn't weigh like 1,000,000 pounds like my DSLRs do.
Right.
But I just remember that I loved it because the color rendition was so much different than my Nikon cameras, and I love the way that it rendered warmer tones like oranges and reds and that kind of stuff. So I would use that camera for specific landscape shots and subject matter as opposed to using like my DSLRs for other types of subject matter, just because the way that it would look and feel would just be a little bit different, and things that I probably could have replicated if I knew how, but just using the proper, like the hardware for the job rather than going in and trying to make it my own post-process.
I've never really thought about that. I've never really thought about, you know, the colors, you know, it's differing from camera to camera, and like you do if you compare them side by side, but I've never been like, I think I'll use your phone to take this photo instead of mine,
because
you know,
it's
like,
gonna capture what in mind.
Yeah.
Because he knows what he wants in his mind already. So like similar to, I don't know if you have those epiphanies where you can see the drawing or painting before it happens.
Visualize.
Whew, those are the best moments ever, because it almost always it won't come exactly. It never comes exactly like you want it, I don't think. But those ones are easy to execute. But I get back to Topher, like he has in his mind already what he wants those colors to look like, or lack of color for that matter, or whatever. So he'll automatically know. And it probably took years of experience, but to know whether he wants to use the phone or the Nikon or the Lumix, or that's nuts. I'm praying I can get to that status of camera awareness. So then at that point, this will just ultimately just be at a whole higher level, or I at least will fiend to have somebody like you. And they will come on this podcast quest. Hey, for real. It's super dope.
But yeah, like, and just building off that real quick, I have like one of the old school 4x5 cameras where you like put your head underneath the little veil and put the loop on the ground glass, you know, like the 1930s like press cameras with the bellows and stuff like that, and you put like one slide. Yeah, I got one of those.
That's cool.
So when we go on the road,
probably worth some money, bro.
Yeah, it's about $600. It's a good one. It's got a working flash on it.
That's
and
awesome.
The whole 9 yards with
the
still flash
works.
Bulbs. Oh yeah.
Oh, it's probably worth way more than that. Then
Cool.
Like it's a functioning old school camera. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Take that to that TV show where they barter for prices. I forgot what that show is called. People know what I'm talking about. But that's awesome though. Wow.
But I plan on doing like a documentary type series about like the modern nomad, because we're going on the road for the next year, living out of an RV and going to be doing a lot of adventure photography. But I think there's this really interesting subculture of people in the United States that not a lot of people take the time to recognize or even maybe realize are a group of people, those modern nomads traveling around the country, maybe doing odd jobs here or there, or just liberating themselves from society for one reason or another. So kind of building off of the old, like the Farm Bureau photographers during the expansion out west, and documenting the life of these new modern nomads and the van life people.
You're gonna do it with that camera?
Yeah, so I'm gonna do it just because
I knew it. Yeah,
it lends such
awesome.
a unique feel, and it kind of has
awesome.
an echo to the past. But it'll be a really interesting juxtaposition between like these modern clothing and people and RVs and vans and that kind of stuff, while also using an antiquated medium and getting that look and feel like it's from the 1930s.
Are you gonna do like while you're on that journey? That sounds amazing, to say the least. While you're on that journey, are you also gonna be taking just not normal, but shots like the same shots, but just with some of your colored photography and stuff?
Probably,
as well?
yeah.
So I think that compare and
Gotta
contrast
have
would be
options.
awesome. Yeah. That could mess
That
around
would be
a
really
whole another
interesting.
thing of its own too. Just
I didn't even really think about that, but thank you. That's
no,
a great
hey,
idea,
no problem. Yeah, it started from yours. It's just, I dominoed from you, man. Yeah.
I can put my money where my mouth is and be like, actually, see, it does look different. You know, it does have a different feel, a modern camera versus an old school 4x5 black and white film camera.
And like something you said reminds me so much of so many of my professors. One, I battled with them for a long time. When you talk about you can just feel that you can just tell the difference between film versus non-film, and I'm sure that's a debate with photographers all over the place. Probably get into some real big ego shit, but forget all that.
It's almost like a Nikon Canon argument.
Right, yeah, it's like I don't know if it's even worth going into it with certain egos in particular. It can really like zap the fun out of the room sometimes, but. It reminds me of some of my professors saying like you just can't the difference between drawing something off of my phone versus drawing it in person. And I went with that battle with my teacher so many times about like you just can't draw off your phone and get the same effect. And for the most part, I agree. But I got some drawings that I'm like, all right, now guess was that in person or was that off my phone? Sometimes you're not going to be able to tell. Like but I get what they mean. Like the drawing in person, I totally get it now. But just that battle with my teachers is like the funnest. And then it was, granted, I was in college for a long time too. So like my painting teacher is just German, and I still don't think he's ever owned a smartphone. So his thing's like, well, what happens when you want to see closer? I'm like, you just zoom in, Armin. Like you just zoom. It's like it doesn't get like pixelated. No, like, dude, I don't know what kind of like cameras you're playing with, bro. But I think at that time I'm like, bro, it's 2015, dog. Like we got good cameras, dude. Like it's hilarious.
Zoom in,
So like, I was clowning my dad's camera a couple days ago, just teasing him really. I was like, "When'd you get that camera?" And it was actually a newer one, but it was like, I was like, "What'd you do with the camera I gave you, son?" I was like, "Oh, it's home somewhere." But at this point, I think my Galaxy S7 takes better pictures than that camera, so we're kind of here where we are now, Dad. I'm using this one, like that's what it is. But that's another just debate that goes on. But that reminds me of that same thing. That's interesting. I guess we never got to, Sarah, some of the freedoms that you might get from doing some of the different mediums. Like, what do you get from, like, what might be different from when you paint something you get out of that personally that gives you a good feeling versus drawing or printmaking?
That's a tough one. I feel like for me it doesn't differ.
Really?
I feel like maybe it differs from like a 3D, like if I'm working on a sculpture, something 3D versus 2D. I feel like then maybe I get two different things out of it, but I don't know. For me, I do art just because I love the act of it. I love the act of creating, whether that's painting or drawing or sculpting or whatever. Like, that just really, like, I don't know. It's something I need to do. It's something that, like, makes my day better. And, you know, I don't feel like I get something new out of, something different out of a drawing that I wouldn't get out of a painting, maybe. I don't know. I guess I've never been asked that question, so that's maybe I just haven't thought about it enough to know.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, I guess for me at least, there's like when how to phrase this. I started gathering. I think when I started drawing with the ink pens, when I started realizing some of the different things that I can get out of one medium that I could take into the next. Or not even that, when I started sculpting and finally started like versus the plaster cast, I kind of consider plaster cast stuff. No shade to anybody that does plaster cast, because some plaster cast stuff is beautiful. But in the sculpting world, I think that's kind of like tracing compared to like actually having a blob of something and you're cutting away at that. That's a whole nother level of sculpting.
Yeah.
When I started sculpting, I think that's when I started paying attention to my hand sensitivity. And I think that's when I got back to drawing and working with pen, I got to the point of like, oh, with the pen, you can really choose how much ink flies out of there, like just depending on how light or how heavy I am with it. And I think the sculpting, transitioned into that. But not that I'm like seeking for an answer from you or whatever, but I believe that when you practice one medium, there's some things you learn strictly from that medium that can translate to other ones, even if you don't even know it.
Definitely.
I just love hearing about that, and you're just so versatile. I'm sure there's a bajillion different ways of that. We just save that for the next episode.
I'm gonna be thinking about that question because it's cool, now I'm like, now I know I have a better answer than the one I just gave, but I don't really know.
Yeah, you just give it some time. Yeah. I kind of like
you.
Right. Yeah, for sure. I like those moments. Feel like something to think about. So you guys have talked about just a cheesy, real quick. Nah, fuck that. I'm gonna skip that for now. We'll come back to that.
All right.
Go that. Do you guys collaborate on projects ever? I mean, you guys you're the artist couple design, so technically, yes, you're in a business venture together. But in terms of like actual like individual pieces of art, do you guys collaborate sometimes?
Personal work? We have never collaborated on any personal piece.
Okay.
Client work, yeah. I mean, he's helped me paint murals before, and, you know, I've shot photos for him that he's edited before. But we do have a series that has not happened yet that we're planning on doing a big collaboration series together. Full collaboration. But we haven't. The first year, we were so, we were so, like, worried about just, like, making the business happen that we were like, you do your thing, I'll do my thing, like, we're both good at this. And now that we kind of got the hang of the whole, you know, business and everything, it's time to collaborate more.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So what is this business, the artist couple design? Like, I guess I haven't really given I don't really have much knowledge of it other than y'all take awesome ass photos on Instagram, like.
You want to answer that one, or you want?
So I mean, in its most basic terms, the artist couple is us, and it's our way of living life the way that we want to live. I've kind of always grown up shy and maybe, I don't know, I wouldn't say anti-society, but I'm very much
rebel,
an independent person. I never really wanted to rely on any government organization or institution or anything like that. I grew up on a farm.
Right. Or even a boss for that matter.
Yeah, and I grew up just kind of doing my own thing, and I got pretty bad ADHD, and I get bored with jobs so fast. I went through so many jobs as a kid, and just like growing up and through college and stuff, I'm terrible at holding down a job. So I just can't do the same thing over and over again. I can't go to the same place and stand at the same register, and my brain just does not work that way.
feel like you'll go insane.
Yeah.
I feel
So
exactly.
I needed the freedom for my own mental health and well-being and just happiness in life. I knew that I had to figure out a way to to make a living and be able to, you know, put shelter and food on the table and that kind of stuff, while also not being pinned down by the man, you know.
Hey, for real, yeah.
And so that's kind of how it all started. I don't know. I think I might have pitched the idea.
Yeah, I was
saying,
looking
like,
for jobs.
Fuck it, let's just go.
So the
let's
trade, at least in terms of the business, is just designs, correct?
It's art and photography.
Yeah.
So it's like fine art or design. I'm not like a huge graphic designer. I'm not like a giant digital person.
Right.
But I've done logo designs. I've done apparel designs, tattoo designs.
Right.
So I do designs, but I also do a lot of fine art, like the murals, and like, you know, if someone's like, hey, I really want to, you know, painting of this for my grandma, like, you know, commission pieces like that, like I'll do that stuff. So it kind of goes fine art and design, and then with you, it's photo and video. So it was hard to figure out how to market our business because we are like so many
different.
things.
Right. It's kind of like what you want, and then
I
depending
know.
on whichever one of us is better at it, we got you. Like,
Yeah.
Right, and
Or
so
we'll
like,
do it together.
but I get what you
and
mean.
it's
Like, how do you
how do you
advertise
explain?
that?
Right.
You know, how do you say, hey, we're the artist couple in like 30 seconds? Like, hey, we're the artist couple. This is what we do. Like,
Right. What's
like,
the mission statement?
the elevator pitch that
Right.
you're supposed to learn in like
Right.
college or whatever. Like,
Well,
we're
it's quality work by passionate professionals.
That's our
mission
that's our
statement.
Hey, I like
Yeah.
that. I like that. Yeah.
'Cause we are passionate. I mean,
Yeah.
we're,
and we have quality.
we're always about
Yeah.
you know, standing behind our product and standing behind what we create
Right.
and making sure that like our customers are always happy. And that sounds pretty corporate, but it's really important when you're running a business or using your
Customer
art as a
satisfaction
business,
is huge.
to have that, because the word of mouth is what's going to drive the future sales and success of the company.
I like the personal connection. Like, when I get to sit down and talk to someone and be like, you know, tell me about yourself, because like, why do you want this piece? Like, why do you want me to create a piece of art for you? And like, what do you want this to be? And just getting to know personal things about people, because art's a personal thing. And and if someone wants something that's creative, like, it's usually because, I mean, sometimes it's like, we need our logo on the wall, and like, you know, that's like, okay, that's not personal, but like, there's this personal, I don't know,
I think I get what you
feel
mean.
that like you
Especially
get,
like tattoo designs.
and you get to like really collaborate,
Right.
not really like with my art, but like collaborate the idea and collaborate like
Your minds
thoughts.
are collaborating.
Yeah.
Like you're
and like you're
I
getting to
love
know
that
someone
part,
on like a
right.
different level than you like meet any other way. Like, you meet someone
Right.
on the street, and like, well, our case is special.
Yeah,
But-
for real, like, right? Literally.
But it's a little different. Like, you know, talking about this stuff is, you get to know a lot by about someone.
Well,
Yeah.
it's really cool making other people's dreams come true.
Mm.
You know, like, there's something to be said about that when somebody who, they know they want something, but they also know that they can't produce that and do that, and so
Right.
they're putting a lot of trust and faith in us
Right.
to create something that is going to have an impact on their life and is going to mean something to them, but it also means something to us because it's our work. It might not be our concept, but like it's our style, it's our designs, or and ultimately, you know, it's like there's a lot of responsibility there to like follow through and bring that person's vision to reality.
Yeah.
And that's really cool to see when you're all done and they're just like, oh my god, this is amazing.
Man, there's that feeling. I can never talk about that feeling enough. Just you can change somebody's life, like, or at least brighten their day at the minimum. Whether it's seeing somebody just light up with a smile, or you can make somebody cry, and like those are the most wild moments to make you look at yourself like, like I did that, like that's like, and it's empowering. That's when you're like, yeah, this shit is worth X amount of dollars. Like when you can produce that, like yes, you can't nobody tell you it's not worth another price.
Priceless.
Right? Yeah, for real. Like I put any number I want to on it. If I'm gonna make you cry, like yeah, like what else? What gift from Walmart is gonna get you that, or like what gift from anywhere else is gonna get that? And I think that is the importance of art in general, right there. Just I don't know. You can make a moment that lasts forever, or just you can capture, whether it's photography, you can capture a moment that people will just never forget, or just through a tat design or any of that stuff. But that's me on my high horse for why art is the shit.
Art is the shit.
It is.
Right? Yeah, for real. Like yeah,
That should be our new tagline. We get passionate professionals. Art is the shit.
Right? Shit. Yeah, art changed my life, yo. So so you guys already work together, and you seem to be building on that. So I guess my next question is like, how do you find the balance in terms of like, maybe just separate individual goals? Of course, you're two different people and might have your own different things that you're trying to venture into, or maybe when you're trying to figure out a new medium, or when you're trying to dive into a new video thing that might not be even having to do with the artist couple design. How do you find that balance in terms of that, I guess?
That was a struggle.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when our first year, when we both were like, you do your thing, I'll do my thing. And then...
How long y'all been together, I guess?
We've been together 3.5 years.
Okay.
Almost, yeah.
Okay.
And,
yeah, 4 years on May 15th.
Yeah.
So...
But that's hard. That's super hard, because I'll want him to maybe help me on something, but he's like doing his thing, and like, yeah, you got your zone, and like you don't want anyone to bother you, and like I'd feel bad, like yeah, and so when we had such individual jobs with such different subjects and just different things, it was really hard to do anything together, like for the business, like because we'd both be in different mindsets, we'd both be in different places, and we'd be thinking about different things. Now it's a little bit easier because we're kind of zoning in, both of us are zoning in on the same kind of subject, and with this whole mobile lifestyle, like our subjects for our art is going to be pretty much the same, and it's going to be in the same umbrella, so it'll be a lot easier to do collaborations and to like be able to be on the same page at all times.
Yeah, we're fortunate enough to ultimately have the same interest.
Right.
We're both huge nature lovers, and she loves like elemental stuff, wind, water, fire.
Right. You get to take pictures of it while she gets to paint stuff. Yeah, that makes so much sense.
Yeah. Like the landscape photography, or like adventure photography, I like to call it, because that's more exciting. And like I do landscapes, but like I find the most interesting landscape photography to have people in it doing things, and enjoying the outdoors and wilderness.
I'm like, get those people out of here.
Right.
So I get to do that.
Take a picture of the scene.
Yeah. Right.
And then she gets to do like her watercolors and create these beautiful watercolor paintings of mountain ranges, and she's just sitting out there. I remember this one time this summer, we summited our first 14er, and she just pulls out this big panoramic sketch or watercolor book, and she takes
a little bit of travel watercolors.
And she just plopped down on the top of this mountain and sat there for like 2 hours just watercolor painting the scene, and I shot and captured what was going on around her during that time, and
that was cool.
It was a lot of fun.
I had one friend that we used to do stuff like that with, but she had a boyfriend, so we just... I ain't even gonna shout her out because I don't want to throw no shade. And it'd be so funny because she'll try and act like... She'll try and play... It makes sense. She had a boyfriend, so she'll try and play it to the left like there was no type of connection. Like, Kyle, like that? Girl, please, stop it. Like, yeah. But they're the coolest, though. But that's awesome, though. That makes so much sense. That's really cool, and that the balance is kind of working itself out. And
then the hobbies
takes
that...
a little time.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
The hobbies that we don't have together are really important, too. because we spend so much time together. I mean, our job is together 24/7. Like, not that I don't love you to death,
it's important.
But sometimes
I need my me time.
It's essential.
So good. He'll like,
essential.
you know, he can go hunting because I'm not into that, and I can go running because he's not into that. And like,
right. There you go.
Like,
It's perfect.
We need our own time, so it actually works out really well because most of our hobbies are similar. But then those ones that aren't, it's like that fresh breath of fresh air kind of thing. There you come back and you're like, I'm ready to spend like a whole week with you now. Like, non-stop.
Right.
Yeah, hard to find that balance at first because we were like living together, we were working together. Yeah,
and then we had no friends because we just moved here.
Oh
so
my gosh,
we got
zero friends.
Right.
We're like not only in a relationship together, but we're also like business partners. So like,
keeping that
separating business and personal was probably
learning
the
curve.
number one hardest thing for us to learn. It was the biggest stressor on our life for quite a while.
Y'all been together 3 years. How long do you think it took y'all to get to that point of feeling like y'all had that? At least, not that it's perfect, but at least feeling like, all right, we're getting this.
Probably like
6 months to a year.
Yeah, I'd say
after starting our own
to a
business.
Year.
Yeah, because
like
we just realized small things that like that just kind of add up. Like, oh, I get on to him about like some dishes, and then we have a business meeting. Like, it's kind of hard to, you know, like keep just you can't just go
transitions, right?
You know,
or like I shoot some stuff for her, but then I've got like a big client backlog, so like I'm working on all my client backlog
like,
for
where
photos,
are my photos?
And I missed the deadline to like get her photos, and that's like a business issue. But then like she takes a personal approach to it, you know, and like
it's hard.
Get the tone.
It's hard.
I'm like,
it's hard
sorry,
to.
You care about these dudes over here, but you can't give me my pictures. Like, I cook for you, I'm doing all this, and you can't get right. Yeah, that's tough. Right?
It's hard.
Oh, man.
It's
So that was
hard.
Not
that was
assuming you're the cook. I was just
actually
I'm the cook.
You the cook. You go ahead, Topher. Well, she does something for you, damn it. I do all
laundry,
this.
laundry, cleaning.
Yeah.
That's so funny. All right, so kind of a freestyle question, but I guess it's hard to explain, so I guess I got to break down how I do it first. I call it tunnel vision mode. This mode where I got the goal and I'm going for it. Nothing's gonna stop me. And in these moments, I'm probably not the nicest guy in the world. Like, I've told friends, I don't got no time for you right now. There's girls have been denied through this. I will neglect girlfriend time. I don't gotta worry about a girlfriend for a while anyways, but I'll neglect girlfriends. I'll neglect school. I will neglect whatever. Like, when I was working on the album, I told all my professors, I was in school at that time, like, Mondays I'm not showing up. Like, I'm going to Kansas City every Monday and I'm gonna go work on my album. I'm not asking for y'all's permission. I'm gonna get all my shit done and all of that. But in that moment, I was kind of in my tunnel vision mode. And I think the way I laid it down to them, they all knew I was so serious. They're like, all right, like, none of them even. And thank you to all of you guys for like supporting that for real, because we really would have clashed. Like, I was going regardless, but in that tunnel vision mode, I'm just focused and nothing's gonna stop me. And sometimes I'm not the nicest guy, but I don't care because I'm getting to that goal. And I don't know. So I guess what I'm asking is, what is it like when each of you get in that mode? Because I think we're all different. We all have different modes of what we're like, but you guys seem very driven and have your own individual moments where you're pushing towards something. So like, what's a day in the life of Topher when he's in tunnel vision mode, I guess? Or what's that experience like? I guess if you can't just map out, I wake up and I'm not asking. Right.
Gotcha. It's usually just, hey,
don't talk
the door's closed for a reason. Just don't talk to me.
I have my metal music up for
I turn on my metal music. I'm
there
a
you
huge
go.
metalhead, and I close the door. Do not bother me. I've got deadlines to meet, or I've got something that I need to do. And
is the door usually not shut until it's
usually
never
perfect communication right there? Like, door
it's
shut.
The do not disturb little
sign, perfect. And he's playing metal in there. What's some of your favorite bands?
I really like Unearth. They're probably one of Unearth. And then I don't know. I haven't listened to any new
You
music
like a
in so long.
local band guy, or like
No local bands. I don't know any
okay.
local metal
'Cause
bands.
I've never heard of On Earth, but I'm still
On Earth,
like,
yeah, they're pretty sweet. I think they're a Massachusetts band. They shred something serious. Yeah, like old school stuff. SLA Dying. Under Oath. I like them.
Yeah, I've heard Under Oath.
Old Norma Jean is pretty sweet.
Cliche black guy that doesn't know that much but knows a little bit. How do you feel about Metallica?
A couple of songs are pretty good.
Right.
I like
Yeah.
One by Metallica. That's like one of my favorites.
Who doesn't like that one?
Yeah, like
But
that song is amazing.
I have to say I'm more of an Iron Maiden guy.
Okay.
Love Iron Maiden.
Okay.
Got to see them in concert actually, so I can die a happy man now.
That's what's up.
So,
So doors shut, playing metal music. Is that about it? That's all you really need? Just give me my space. And
Pretty much doesn't
yeah, just
eat.
the respect to.
You say he doesn't eat?
No,
Yeah.
he just goes like for hours.
Yeah.
I'm kind of like that too.
I
Like
just go on benders.
No
I'll
break.
be in there for
nothing
like
matters. Like,
18 hours or something, just on
Yeah,
the computer.
it's-
I'll come out like all wiry haired and crazy
Yeah.
looking.
it's a weird thing. Yeah, it's weird, but I take pride in it.
Yeah.
I think that's the connection tangent, but I think that's the connection with life drawing models and the artists themselves. Not all artists and models, of course, but at least with me and anybody I think I've been fortunate enough to have as a life drawing model. I think in the moments I've had girls that I've like beautiful women that I just tuned out completely as if she was like a flower. I'm singing songs. I do not sing in front of people really. I'm so insecure about it. But singing songs and bobbing my head and just going, and 2-3 hours later I'm like, I didn't say a word to you. I am so sorry. But I'm just, anyways, the understanding of in that moment you're not really a person. You're not really you are definitely a subject. But besides the point, whatever that focus is for that 2 or 3 hours, you know what it's like to be the most important thing in the fucking world. After that, we're gone. Like, whatever. Like,
Yeah.
But in that moment, like I've never been a life drawing model, but I think I would like it just off of that. Like, to be the subject of that. I get why people like to be the subject of life drawing models, just because in that moment,
I think
that's
a really
whatever it
interesting
is.
experience.
Yeah, you're the most important thing for that 2-3 hours. Nothing else matters. Like, nothing, especially if you got your music, you're zoned out. You could have just been talking about some bullshit politics or whatever, and then you go out, get that paper out. Fuck all that shit. You're strictly focused on that.
Yeah, everything changes.
Yeah.
I think I don't know if that's
it's
a
zen.
unique thing to artists where you can just like switch into, and like you've got that target fixation and like you get in the zone or whatever,
Right.
and
I
like
feel like-
nothing else matters
Right.
around you. Like the world could be exploding and you'd just be like
Yeah.
focused
But maybe-
completely on
Right.
creating.
Right.
Like it's like I feel like maybe even at times I'm just so afraid if I let my mind wander even for a second that I'll lose focus or I'll lose track of that. So I just gotta
You're right.
work
It's like,
on that
I gotta use
and
the
keep-
bathroom so bad, but I
keep that in
can't
mind. No,
stop.
but like I'm
I've been
jamming
there.
right now.
Stop,
I can't-
right.
I've been
Yeah,
there.
it's wild, right? Yeah, like it's.
When I'm
Oh,
doing
what
murals,
it
I'll
is.
forget to like eat lunch and stuff, and like someone will come in like 6 hours after I like started, and they're like, "Have you like left this room?" I'm like, "It's already 5."
Like, no, I
I
haven't.
have a lunch
actually.
box.
Right.
Like, no, I haven't done anything. I haven't used the
Right.
bathroom. I haven't.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, she gets in the zone, and
my
I just have to
gosh.
leave her alone. Like,
I get a little snappy sometimes if I'm in the zone and someone tries to bother me. I'm like,
Yeah.
just leave me.
like I'm pulling her out of it if I
gotta do
like
it.
talk to her. So we find that we just have to respect each other
Right.
because when we both get in the zone, it's like
Oh yeah.
don't distract me, don't talk to me. You're gonna have to cook and clean and go do everything else. And like,
I'll be back. Don't worry.
It's like
be
a mini
back.
vacation. Like you're just not
Yeah,
there.
like-
I'll get you
right.
back next time when you're in the
It's-
zone. But like right
right.
now, like
It's zen.
it's in
Like,
everybody's
is.
best interest.
It's
Now
if
is
you
this-
let me do
This
do me.
whole series was kind of about that, which I didn't know in the beginning. But every single dot I poked with a pin, like a thumbtack.
Oh.
Poked every
Oh,
dot
Leno.
into plastic.
Oh.
and then that's how I made all those prints. And I have some that are like 4 feet long.
All those waves?
They're all dots that I poked each individually.
Stippled that shit?
Yeah.
What? I didn't get up close enough on it, and there's an angle, but
I got some that are really big. It's even like a bigger seascape, which has waves and like a beach, and that whole process was just about being in that zone, like meditative, like zen. Just dot and dot and dot and dot.
Yeah, I haven't stippled anything, but drawing water is pretty fun.
You should try stippling it. It's crazy.
You
gotta get in the zone though. Like it's the only.
I don't know if I got the patience for that, cause I'm trying to free myself more into. I take too much time into my.
Well, then
shit.
don't do that.
Right? Yeah. Like as much as I would like to.
Maybe like
wrong direction. Probably.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. I'm still. I need to do more scribble art. Just the one continuous line and just going. And I love doing that. Yeah. One of the plein air, not teachers, but one of the plein air painters I met back in Missouri was the guy that I saw do that for the first time with some ink paint. He drew me in like 10 minutes. And it was big too. And that was a mind flip moment. Like, and he was just having so much fun, just going with the lines and going everywhere. It's not everything is going to be exactly where it's at, but if you got your proportions and shit, you can nail that fucker fast. And he did that, and that's he blew my mind with that. Yeah, he put me on that. You said something about showing me something. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I need to show you an artist I follow on Instagram that I can't remember his name, but he does all like scribble. It's really good. You would like it.
Vince Lowe?
No, I don't think
There's
so.
a guy named Vince Lowe, and he's a god. Like, yeah, he's amazing.
I'll have to see.
He's amazing. I think there's an underscore in there somewhere, and maybe a few, but he's really.
I found
really
I could do it with one of them in this series, which was like a Milky Way scene. So I got to punch holes for all the stars, and our poor downstairs neighbor probably thought I was like crazy because I had the plastic on the floor and I had my thumbtack and I was literally just like bam 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 and like it was kind of like some of them are like, okay, I need to place this dot like here, but some of them I'm like, I just need a whole lot of dots in this one area.
After a while, you're just like, fuck it,
you're just like, I'm going for it.
Right,
like,
yeah.
You kind of get those breaks of when you really need to focus and when you can just go at it.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
So we kind of implied it, but we didn't really talk about your tunnel vision mode. What do you do for?
Yeah, so it's either like one of 3 musics. So reggae is huge. Love reggae. Big band like Frank Sinatra, love that stuff, and classic rock. It's either one of those 3. And yeah, I just don't talk to anyone. I don't look at my phone. Like, I'll be out doing some outdoor mural, and Topher will like have texted me like 15 times, and he's like, you know, making sure I'm okay, like haven't gotten snatched up because I'm outside the whole time, and like I'll just like never answer my phone. He'll be like, "Where were you?" Like, I was nervous. I was like, "I'm sorry, it's been like 8 hours. I totally didn't even know."
On the phone,
like,
yeah. See, I want a tablet for that same reason because I draw off my phone, but I hate ignoring people, and I'm getting to the point now to where like, especially if I'm recording GoPro stuff, I'm not about to stop this drawing motion just to text you back all the time. So
you gotta get
every now and then, this goes to everybody who wants to communicate with Kyle. Every now and then, yes, I am not ignoring you, just not right now.
Me too.
Like just not right now. Yeah. And if I don't get back with you, I'm so sorry, buddy. That happens sometimes. Like, fuck it.
Yeah, that's why I like to print out. I like to print out my reference photos so I have paper so I just can not even
yeah, for sure. I think that's important.
But yeah,
I think that's really important. Damn, we knocked out a lot of that shit right there. Hey, that's what's up.
Sweet.
Boom. What not the cliche what's next, but kind of like, do you guys have, where do you guys see, I guess for starters, where do you guys see the artist couple designs going, and what are some of your goals for that? And
I was
like,
hoping you would ask.
So your goals for that and individual goals, like where you'd like to see yourselves individually as well.
All right.
So
should we start individual?
Yeah, let's do individual first.
I dig that.
I started a series of paintings this year that I wanted to finish this year, but I'm only about halfway through, maybe not even. Definitely want to get those finished and then this next year and have a solo show somewhere here in Austin. That's my goal. Some big solo show, like at a known gallery, not some like little garage, you know. Oh my gosh, I got so many blank canvases. Yeah, all those are gonna be part of the series, but it's all different clouds and different skyscapes, and
that's what's up.
Yeah, so that's one of my biggest personal goals for the next year. What about you?
Yeah, I have yet to exhibit in Austin.
That's true.
So putting together a real solid exhibition and having like a gallery opening and stuff on display for my fine artwork, I think is really important to me, because I've been doing a lot of real estate and stuff lately, and it's just kind of mind-numbing, paying the bills type stuff. So I want to get more into my narrative-based work and fine artwork and exhibit that. And then I'm also trying to get back to Kenya next year, and I'm really hoping that Sarah will also be able to come with. But that's another volunteer with Well Aware, which is a local nonprofit in Austin that drills wells or does like clean water initiatives for underserved communities in Kenya. I'd love to get back there and do more of that kind of stuff.
It's amazing. I didn't even think about that in terms of your goals, because you're so photo based, and the way with your aesthetic that makes sense. You literally have to go experience the world if you want to continue to do your shit. Which damn, I need to figure out.
Gotta travel.
I gotta slide my art creativity into some shit like that. That's amazing. That's such a great 2-for-1. Yeah, like that's amazing.
Topher one.
Phenomenal.
Bad joke.
Yeah.
I said Topher one. Never mind.
Like 2 for. Yeah. Alright, try.
Anyways.
Grasping.
Alright, so what about? I really like how that was like more short term than I was expecting too. So
sorry.
I like no,
Getting
that's okay.
married, that's a personal goal for both of us. I guess.
That's awesome.
Next year.
But personally, I like that because I think I'm the opposite in terms of I'm always long term goaling, but I don't short term goal stuff enough. And I think next year I'm definitely about to change that.
We should probably long term goal more.
Resolutions. I got my New Year's resolutions. I'm gonna get to it. This is the first year I actually knocked out one of my almost, not technically, but almost. I did post a fuck ton of IG posts this year though, so that was
you tripled your following.
Yeah, it was nice.
I saw your 2016 to 2017 best time. And I was like, that's cool. I was so proud of that. The numbers,
I didn't know. I knew just based off of just the production rate that I was posting more, but I just posted 50 last year versus like I think I'm at like 150 now or something like that for this year. So yeah, and I still could have did more. I know I could have did more. Yeah, but
you can always improve.
I know, man.
Right? Yeah, so I'm hyped for next year, man. I'm so hyped for next year. But what about? Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was probably gonna just answer your question. What about both of us?
Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah. Exactly.
So we just got, or we haven't signed any contract yet.
Yeah, so it's not 100% official, but it's
officially enough.
Like February 1st, we'll officially be the creative consultants for Backwoods Outfitters, and they're kind of like REI, or they specialize in like outdoor gear and adventures, namely climbing, fly fishing, backpacking, and then they do adventure trips as well.
A sponsor for them?
No, so we're going to be their creative consultants.
It's like an ambassadorship kind of.
Right, because y'all already going. Oh, that makes so much sense because you're already on adventures doing so much cool shit. Why not just have some people that make clothes or whatever it is that they're making have their gear on you?
So they're a retailer. So they have all the companies, like the tents and backpacks and all that kind of stuff. They resell their stuff, and we would operate in a creative capacity. So we'd produce all the eye candy, IG photos, and that kind of stuff. And then short form, long form writing about different destinations, all the different gear. They give us gear to review. We'll be doing a lot more like video reviews for stuff, but also just short little 30-second inspirational clips for Instagram about you know, like hiking Mount Rainier, I guess climbing Mount Rainier, like things like that, or the little hidden gems that maybe people don't know about in their backyard. I mean, there's some amazing places to go backpacking within 2-3 hours of Austin that not a lot of people talk about because there's so many really big things like Big Bend and Big Bend Ranch and that kind of stuff. So
well, there'll be a lot of photos, writing, video, and then I'm hopefully gonna slide some artwork into their store locations and do some t-shirt designs,
Great for
or
woman.
like sell some prints or make stickers or whatever. So
we'll be working together a lot, doing what we love,
traveling around.
It'll be a really interesting mix of like marketing and advertising and commercial photography, along with like landscape, and then like my fine art series, because we're going to be on the road, so I'll have the opportunity to do like my modern nomad idea and that kind of stuff.
My clouds, I'll be able to paint them in person instead of from a photograph. So.
We're gonna build an art V.
That's our RV's name
studio.
is gonna be
an art V. That's cool.
So we're gonna be a lot more hands-on, destination type stuff.
Mobile. We'll still keep Austin as our home base. We'll probably come back once a month, or if not more. But we'll hopefully be traveling somewhere new like every month, and we're gonna
nationwide. Y'all about to.
Hopefully keep up with our blog a lot better than we have been. We've been neglecting it hardcore because
it might be easier with travels.
Definitely. So we'll be doing a lot more writing and storytelling about like our travels than we have, and it'll be a lot more hands-on. I'm super excited.
Time out. What was you guys doing the day? Not that it's any of my business, but what was y'all doing downtown the day that we met?
What were we doing that day?
Papa Dome. I had done 2 murals for Papa Dome, it's an Indian restaurant.
You had something on
off
you.
Of, or no, was that ETS? I was live painting. I think.
No, we were going to Fidel's for food, but I don't
that was
remember
after.
why we were down there.
Sure, maybe it wasn't ceramics of some sort. It looked like you had something on. You had just got done.
I had paint clothes on.
Maybe it was paint.
I think it was. We finished up the live painting from ETS, my first live painting ever, which was kind of scary. It's like people watch you the whole time, so that's weird. Pretty sure it was that day,
Sure.
yeah.
We can go with that.
Because I was wearing like all these painting clothes. And so like I had just finished this job where I did like 12 portraits, like 4x4 foot portraits for them, and a live painting, like a 4x8 foot live painting that I had just finished, and we were going to celebrate.
Yeah, I think
at
you're
the
right.
Irish pub.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Damn.
Walking on the right street.
My lucky day, man. That's crazy.
Our lucky day.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel way luckier than y'all.
Everyone's lucky day.
I think you're right. Yeah, we can all win, but I think y'all taught me way more already than whatever I might have taught. I think I just got to be a feature on y'all's blog, but I mean, hey, I appreciate that opportunity.
Yeah.
My last question, and I'm not even really gonna gear it towards a question now. It's kind of just a pick, because I'm sure y'all might have heard it, but there's the cliche of artists dating other artists, and I've heard a lot of people like artists should not date another artist, and for so many other reasons. And I mean, I was gonna lead that into a question on how y'all feel about it, but personally, how I feel about it after meeting y'all, fuck all you guys. Like, fuck all of y'all that are in your absolutes and saying that artists should not date other artists, because this is the dream right here, damn it. Let me go to Thailand and see if I can meet my girl out there and shit. Like, I don't know. I think y'all have a good thing. Y'all seem to have a balance of it. Y'all know when y'all have when you need your little time, and of course nothing's perfect, and you have your own struggles and shit, but
yeah. I
that's
mean,
awesome though.
it's definitely tough. I think one of the biggest things is just respecting what other people need, you know, because not everybody, or maybe not even anybody, functions or needs what you might need in life to do something or get something done, or to be creative or whatever that might be. So I think it's really just always putting in 100%, no matter how much the other person is putting in, and respecting when someone says, "Hey, I need this from you," or like I need you to respect this about me.
Right.
To like take yourself out of your shoes and look at it from more perspectives than just yours.
Yeah, it's a team.
Yeah. I think it's easy that we have such different mediums too. Because like I don't know how I'd feel if you were also like a muralist.
Right.
Like I feel like there would be this weird competition because we're both very competitive, and like humans are just competitive naturally.
Right. Yeah.
So I feel like it would be a lot different if we both like did paintings and drawings. Like.
Right.
So maybe I don't know. It just worked out that like.
We could get stuff done a lot faster, or more likely would be like,
arguing.
No,
getting one piece.
Your style's not working for this mural, you know. Like
it'd be 10 fights just to get through one, or you get through a lot of them.
Yeah.
Either way, I think it works out fine. Y'all have such contrasting mediums.
Sometimes it's hard because, like last. In progress. I wanted like an in progress critique like from school because you don't get that out when you're out of school. And so I was like, Topher, like I had another friend over. I was like, come, tell me what you think about this painting. It's like halfway done. And like, I don't know. It was difficult hearing like, well, this should change and this should change and like. But I asked for that. So it's always because if it was someone that wasn't an artist, if it was someone that wasn't an artist, more than likely they'd be like, "It's great," and like say great things, and like to hear someone like pick apart your work because they're also an artist and they know how to pick it apart. It's like it's a little hard sometimes to, but it's also really good. Like I really like that.
Right. Well, any other time you feel conflicted with it, I love the critique part. I do too. I take pride in trying not to ever just, well, that's shitty. Like I'm not gonna pick anything apart. I don't think. I think the ultimate goal is how can we make it not we, but how can, whether it is we or not, how can we get the coolest shit possible? Yeah. And if in your mind you got the coolest shit, cool. But I think I just kind of poke at whatever it is. Like, well, how do you feel about it? And then, like when they talk about I think something's missing or whatever, and then I'm talking, then maybe throw something out there, but I don't know. I just try not to speak in absolutes, like you need to do this or you don't need to do that, and just I don't know. I think I just throw ideas out versus the opposite. I don't know.
I think it would be hard if you weren't an artist though too. So it would be too much of the other way. Like, it would be too much of you just being like, looks great.
Yeah. Right.
You know? Yeah. Like, then I'd be like, come on. Like, you're not my mom.
It's
like,
better than what I could do.
Yeah, exactly.
Helped no artist
I can't
ever,
learn
guys.
from that.
Like,
yeah.
Right. No, like, you might mean well, people, but no artist wants to hear that. Like, ever.
That's not how we learn.
Right.
Thank God it's better than what you could do because I'm an artist.
Right, yeah. Like, well,
this is my job. You know?
Right.
I hope it's better than what you could do.
Right. You know how many hours I put into this shit? Like, no, you don't.
Yeah. No, I've never really heard many people, maybe it's just because they don't want to say it to our face, but I've never heard, every time I'm like, yeah, we're both artists and we're a couple. Like, everyone's always like, that's so awesome. Like, no one's ever been like, well, I bet that sucks. Like, right. Maybe that's just because they're being nice.
I can't remember the last time. I've heard it a couple times. I've watched some movies with like famous artists, and I've heard some of them say it. So maybe that's why it's stuck with me. But I think I've heard some stuff in person as well. About like people used to ask me in my last relationship. She was an artist as well. All of my girlfriends were artsy in some respect. I think it's just I don't know. I'll probably always be like that, but. People would ask like how we dealt being in the same building, and it was easy for us because she was in the ceramics part and I'm everywhere else.
Exactly.
So it's like
yeah.
if we want to see each other all day. It's just a matter of whether I want to go in there and talk to her for a little bit or not. But
Yeah.
most times she might be in her zone, so I might not want to go in there and mess with her right there. Like, yeah, but it's really not as difficult as people make it out to be to have similar interests and date. Just a matter of respecting the space. And,
Yeah.
and just trying to compromise every now and then.
Yeah.
But I don't know, but I never thought, I dreamed of, I had so many episodes in mind that I'm going to get this type of artist and this type of artist and this type of artist. And then boom, I meet y'all before I even do episode 1. And I'm like, yo, it's a couple. Like, what an ill concept
Package
for one
deal.
episode right there. 2 different people with 2 different things. I knew this was going to be the longest one. It is by the long shot. And I'm hype about it. I had a feeling it was going to be like that. But thank y'all so much
Thank
Of
you.
course.
for being on board.
Absolutely.
This was awesome. Forget to shoot me as much stuff as possible so we can throw in
yeah.
as many visuals for all the other cool stuff.
Thank you for saying something that one day about his shirt.
Yeah.
Like-
Hey, man, yeah. Shoot, I can't thank y'all enough. Y'all got personal Instagrams, correct?
We do.
All right, plug the Instagram real quick. This is the time I'm gonna have like credits. And it's gonna
Sarah
scroll.
M. Sense. That's my
Sarah
first,
M. Sense.
Sarah M. Sense. First name, middle initial, and then the first part of my last name.
SENSE.
Yep.
Damn, simple enough.
Topher Mac photo.
Topher Mac photo. No underscores. No.
All one word.
Topher Mac
Easy.
photo. Those
Easy
those
peasy.
make it so easy. Yeah, when you got underscore.
I don't wanna be like,
765.
17
Right.
question marks.
Right. Crown emoji 7. Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
so
What's
much.
up with that?
Right. Yeah. Hey, you can get something clever. I do wish I was one of those kids that was smart enough to make one of the like a number, like how Eminem put the 3 for the E, or like there's some artist named Black, and instead of the B, he uses a 6. Damn, that's
we
so
He
just
actually
went to
went
see
to
him.
one of his shows.
Oh, was it good?
Yeah.
It was.
That's what's up.
It
See,
was
I
really-
couldn't name you 2 Black songs, so I don't really know anything about them.
We thought it was 6 Lag
Oh,
the
yeah.
first time we.
Right.
I was like, is
Super
this
white
6
person
Lag?
thing to say.
I
We're
know.
like, 6 lag?
Lag?
Like, we're going to see, like...
Yeah, no, we.
Then we get there and we're like, oh, fuck, we're dumb.
Yeah.
I'm getting too old for this.
And then as soon as you hear it, you're like, oh, it makes so much
yeah,
sense.
and I'm like, oh,
Damn.
Like,
damn.
I did
all
not
right.
say that.
It wasn't capitalized, so I didn't know.
right. Yeah, I wish I was one of those clever little fuckers. But
Oh, that's
anyways, yeah, all likes, comments, suggestions, always appreciated. I don't know if I'm at the get a lot of comments yet, but eventually, if people have any suggestions or anything like that, feel free. I appreciate anybody for watching, even if you're just listening, watching, if you're just curious in these 2, you don't even gotta care about me. Just for whatever reason that you listened or watched the Artist Podcast, thank you, love you guys, appreciate it, and we are out this hoe.
Yeah.